Hello world, it's me, Mark Chima, and today is a special day, I guess, because today marks 100 days since I was sent home from work to work remotely, and a week later in Chicago, ended up going on lockdown for COVID-19, obviously, of course. But I just wanted to basically make this video to do a little catch up about how my life's been going so far ever since all this has happened. I want to first note that I'm sorry if the lighting in here is not good. It is currently raining, but this was really the only time I had to make this video, so I wanted to go ahead and get it out. I give everyone a quick little catch up session and just get to know each other a little bit better. So if you want to see more travel, food, sustainability, lifestyle videos, do hit that sub button, give it a like, share it with your friends, comment in the comments below, and yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. One of the things I've been doing a lot of lately is I've been doing a lot of oil painting. And I know a lot of people will say things like doing meditation and yoga help them calm down, but for me that's definitely what painting does. Painting is the only thing I can do where I can just turn my brain off, and it's literally just me, the paints, the brushes, the canvas, and everything. And it's just a really nice feeling to be able to just commit more time to it. And I'm wondering actually if I should post pictures of my paintings somewhere, just because I do really enjoy doing paintings. I do want to share them with people, but I'm not really sure what the best way to share those paintings is. So if you guys have any suggestions, definitely let me know in the comments. Otherwise I'll probably just throw them on my Instagram stories or something, and just share them that way. But I definitely want to share some of my paintings, and I also really want to share my painting process eventually once I really get into the groove of how it works and what I have as sort of my style and how I prefer to paint, my painting environment and things like that. And I guess one of the most important things that I want to mention when it comes to painting is that a lot of people will tell me that they're really not good at painting, or I never can really get what I want onto the canvas. And I think the most important thing to remember is that the best thing that you can do if you want to start painting is just release from your head the idea of what you think painting should be, because that's going to stop you before you even start. And it's if you're just starting out as painting and you try to make a Da Vinci, that's just not going to happen. And besides, that's such a unique and rare exception that we can't sit there and expect all of society to paint on the level of Da Vinci. It's just not going to happen. So it's you have to build your own way towards your own creative artistry, you know? And so it really is just a good way to have a bit of tranquility and peace in my life. And I'll just put on some deep house music. I'll just pull out all my paints and all my brushes. I actually went to get a new brush this week because Blick opened up their stores inside again. So I went and picked up a new brush and some new drawing pencils. So I went to go ahead and get those as well. So I have a bunch of new supplies, and I just really love creating and making things. I'm just glad that I've come to rediscover painting like this. And so I'm really just excited to keep diving in. And I think that even as things open up again, I want to continue having painting being a part of my life. This is something I was even really starting before all the coronavirus things were going on. It's just that having a little bit of extra time meant that, oh hey, I can pick this up again. So it's been nice. And I've also been reading about how to live a more sustainable lifestyle, and it's definitely something that I think is really good and necessary for the way the world works these days. And I definitely want to do a whole video series about that later, about what is sustainability, how I'm incorporating sustainability, and just basically kind of vlogs of where I'm going through my own journey towards sustainability. I don't think I can necessarily do zero waste just yet, but it's definitely something I want to do in the future. If I can't do it 100% zero waste, get as close to it as possible and really work towards a more sustainable lifestyle and just living a more mindful lifestyle. It's practicing mindfulness, I think, is going to be very important for me in the future. So yeah, I've been reading a lot more about sustainability and sustainability initiatives these days, so I'm definitely really excited to look into that. And I do want to give a slightly maybe controversial opinion about sustainability, and that is, while I do think everyone's individual contribution matters, I definitely also don't believe that sustainability through austerity is the best way to go. And I think mostly we should be holding accountable corporations and billionaires and people who are using way more resources than most people do. There are individuals who are using more than entire countries do, so we should really think more about that kind of thing, where resources are being conserved, but also like we're just simply using less, like both as a nation and corporations and things like that. And I think a lot of it also has to do with simply buying less stuff, partially because we live in a society that like has hardwired us to want and to never be satisfied with what we have. So I think it's really important for us to like break out of that mindset and really think about what we're consuming, how much of it we're consuming, and what is the best ways to do sustainability initiatives, consumption, things like that. So it's definitely something I'm really excited to learn about in my home for myself and to just share with other people. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing that. And it's really good. It's a good thing to be able to live more sustainable. So I'm really excited to see what that's about. And I also want to just keep only the things that I'm either using or that bring me joy or things like that. So it's definitely been really helpful. And another thing I think that's also been really helpful is that Goodwill is open again. They're accepting donations again. So I've been like slowly starting to collect things that I can like donate. So I know that I'm just not throwing things away. They're actually going to be used. They're going to go to a good cause and things like that. That other people can use the things that I don't want or need anymore. So it's definitely a big thing for me, for sure. And recently I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch as well. I've been able to dedicate a lot more time to my channel, having better content strategies, really focusing on like Switch content and like really trying to make that the best it is. And I think I've been doing fairly well so far. I could always like stand a little bit more refined and polished. So I think by the time my stream comes around tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to be streaming Ninjala. Yes, Ninjala is going to be the game I stream tomorrow, because that comes out tomorrow. By the time that comes out tomorrow, I'm going to be making sure that my stream has a little bit more refinement and polish, and just like see what I can do with it. Because I do love handhelds, I do love Nintendo Switch, and I do have a long-term content strategy in place even after the Nintendo Switch's lifespan is over. So it is definitely something that I'm not just sort of like throwing to the wayside at all. Like it's definitely something I want to keep doing. And whoa, the lighting is changing. Sorry about that. Looks like the sun's finally coming out. But anyway, it's definitely something I'm really looking forward to doing a lot more. One of the things I've noticed about this lockdown is that it's made me really put in perspective what is important in my life and what I'm making time for. And there's something I actually really like that I've not been making time for, and that is staying fit. For those of you that don't know, before all this lockdown started, I would go to the gym like 3 to 5 times a week. Like I was regularly going there to help stay in shape. And I was also trying to eat well as much as I could. But with this whole lockdown, we haven't been going to the gym at all, I mean. And then we haven't really been eating well. Actually, like we thought this was going to last a lot shorter originally, because I mean, we really thought the lockdown was going to be like maybe like 3 or 4 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks the most. But here we are, like it's day 100, and David's walking by. It's day 100, and we're still here, and we're still going to be working from home for at least another month. So, I mean, the Canadian border's closed, the Mexican border's closed, so it's not like we can even travel outside the country anyway. But basically, we haven't been able to stay fit as much as I would like, because like doing like exercise and diet and things like that. But recently I've been trying to eat a lot more like vegetarian, vegan food, trying to eat more fruits and vegetables, being much more mindful about the foods that I eat, because having pizza every week is no longer sustainable, because we tried that as a way to treat ourselves, because we were like, we're going to get through this and we're going to have like pizza to help get us get through it. But it's like 14 weeks of pizza is probably not that good. So we'll probably dial back on the pizza, start having more healthy foods. I've been soaking a lot of beans, having more rice, just having more vegetables and berries and things like that. So hopefully that will help like get us motivated and get us back in the swing of things. And I do have my hand weights that I use a little sometimes. I do a little like some light exercising. And we go on walks actually quite a bit. Like we'll like walk over to the store that's a mile away and then we'll walk back. So it's not like we're just like not doing anything. But it's definitely something I want to get back in the habit of, because it's the one thing that I really truly enjoy that I haven't been able to do during this lockdown. So hopefully that will change. I'm hoping that will change. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to get back into the gym for sure. If you follow me on like my other socials, you might have noticed that me and David got married. So we were originally going to get married on May 15th, but due to the whole like coronavirus lockdown, a lot of the offices, like the civic office, had a much larger queue than we expected. They were running at lower capacity, so we weren't able to get our marriage license in time for the May 15th marriage, but we did move it to May 12th. And that's actually a really important day here in the US, because that was the day that the Loving v. Virginia decision was made that basically decided that you could not discriminate on marriage on the basis of race. And a lot of the arguments that were argued in Loving v. Virginia were then argued in 2015 in Oberfeld v. Hodges. I don't really know how to pronounce that first name, but basically like a lot of the arguments that were used to bring same-sex marriage into the United States, even though several of the countries had done it before, the US used Loving v. Virginia as a lot of the basis that would eventually come to that decision. So it really was, for us, a very auspicious day to get married. And we ended up live streaming the wedding on Twitch, and my oldest friend Matt officiated, and I just want to thank him again so much for that. I really do appreciate it a lot. And if you guys want to see the VOD, I have the Twitch link in the description, but do keep in mind that the Twitch cops got to it due to copyrighted music that was played at the end during our dancing and our reception time. So yeah, I'm actually like still kind of getting like off the high of getting married. It's such a great feeling. Like, I'm still really happy. And I just, for everyone that was there, I thank you so much for being part of a special day for me, because it was just amazing. It was so great. I'm just still really happy. And so next I want to get to like the really serious topics of this video. And the first is, I mean, we all know what's going on in America these days. There's a lot of justified anger on account of systemic racism, against police brutality. And we've seen like this very big rejuvenation of the Black Lives Matter movement. And I think it's largely something that was going to happen. It was an inevitability. I think prior to the day that George Floyd was murdered, I supported the Black Lives Matter movement, and I did support it like a little bit on my socials, but the truth is I was really like minimal support. Like, it was very tacit. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Tacit, I think, is the pronunciation, but correct me if I'm wrong. But I really could have done more, honestly. And seeing the movement now picking up steam and taking like a global perspective, like, it's really given me a chance to think more about my position in the world and what I can contribute to racial justice. And like, yes, it's true, I didn't do enough to support the Black Lives Matter movement before everything was bubbling over like this. But I can't sit there and beat myself up, because now I know that I'm capable, that I'm willing, that I'm able, and I just need to put in the extra effort, I guess. And it's just been really eye-opening for me, as someone who is queer, as someone who is POC, someone who is living in America. I'm realizing now that the world needs my platform and my voice more than ever. It really does need my platform and voice more than ever. And just because joy is home to myself like the way it is, doesn't mean that I'm going to shut my eyes and close my ears and like pretend that nothing's going on. Because it's like, I see that's necessary. And we as a society have a lot to do. And I know that myself as a biracial person, I will never understand the struggle and the pain that Black people have to go through in societies around the world on a daily basis, in a lot of structural ways. Like, there's a lot of structural change that needs to happen. And while we'll not ever understand quite that pain in the same way, I have not even a sense of obligation as a biracial or POC person, as a human being in a society right now. Like, I know that it is my duty to empower, encourage, support, and love others, and to essentially like build a platform for myself to live my life fully and openly, without limits, without regrets, living without limits. It's what I've said for years and years. And it's just, it is important for me to be visible. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, really, is that it's important for me to be visible as a queer POC in America in 2020, in the world in 2020, really. And it's just, for me, I remember what Jacinda Ardern said when she said, "I refuse to believe that you cannot be both compassionate and strong." And I think that's going to be the approach that I take. Just in the way the world's working now, is that just I'm going to be a much more. I'm going to look through, like Rachel, just through the lens of strength and compassion. Like, I'm going to be kind and loving, but I'm also not going to back down on these things that are very, very important to the world. And I have a lot I can contribute to that. And the first step is just me being visible, like, in the world, and just not being ashamed of who I am as a person or anything. And just living openly and loud and just being me. Like, 'cause I'm probably a much more naturally loud person than I'm willing to give myself credit for, really. But the other thing I've been thinking about recently is that I realized, as I've been looking at some of my old like Snapchat memories, because as you all know, like back in like 2016, 2017, I was like, huge on Snapchat. Like, I was constantly making snaps. Like, even though I probably moved mostly towards Instagram stories these days, like, I definitely used it a lot, and I still see like memories from that time. And in between that, in between my journaling, which I've been doing a lot of since lockdown, and in between meditation, which I do at least 3 times a week. I try to do it every single like weekday. Usually weekends I'm too busy having a good old time. But like on weekends, I do my meditations, and like during like weekends I do journaling even, and during all my like looking at my Snapchat memories, looking at my journals and meditation, I'm realizing that my Xbox, wow, oh my god, okay, you know where my brain's at, but my former boss really fucked up my self-esteem, like really badly. He was an incredibly emotionally abusive person, and I'm really glad I managed to get out of that environment, but like I didn't realize how badly he damaged me until I started looking at my old snaps and started looking at my old journal entries, and even the ones I'm doing now as I'm being more reflective and meditating, I'm just realizing that I really, like, the past 3 years, like the past 3.5 years have been emotionally tumultuous. And even though I've gotten into therapy over the past like 1.5 years or so, like we're about 1.5 years in, but even though I've gotten into therapy, it's just I haven't really realized where like that huge hit to my self-esteem came from. And now that I know that, I think I'm going to start really using that as my basis and like really going back into like 2014 through 2016, in that period after I met David, and being like, what worked in my life, what didn't work, and just like trying to build from there, basically. And I just got to remember that like I don't have to just survive anymore. Like, I can choose to thrive every single day, and I think that's just, it's an amazing opportunity and privilege to take. And my therapist even said that like I have almost an obligation to myself to thrive, because it's like the universe is giving me so many opportunities. It's like, why not do the most with them? Like, why not? So I think that also goes with in the whole like being visible, being loud, things like that. So that's really important for me. And as we know, there's just been so many things that have been canceled due to this lockdown. PAX is going fully online. Can't go to DreamHack. My trip to Colombia got canceled. Our trip to London got delayed. Couldn't see Jeremy for his birthday. There was no Eurovision. And all my plans to travel basically just got thrown to the wayside, but I'm hoping to get back on that very soon once borders actually open, and maybe just like at least getting to know the city that I'm in right now, Chicago. But the good news is on the Eurovision front is that we now have dates for the contest, and because I don't have anything really set up for that time, I might actually be able to go to Rotterdam. Like, I may not be able to like be in the arena for the concert, but I can at least be in the city, go to the Eurovision Village, things like that. So I'm definitely considering that. And just once I can actually like really start travel writing and travel vlogging again, I'm definitely gonna hit the ground running and just like travel as much as I can, just because it is something that fills my cup, so to speak. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing that and getting a SIM card and voting in Eurovision. That'll be very fun. But I think there's still a lot of opportunities for me out there, even after all of this is gone. And we move towards hopefully a new future together. So yeah, that's basically how my life is going these days. If you have any questions, definitely hit me up in the comments or hit up my socials, and definitely let me know in the comments. And if you are a queer person of color like I am, and you have any like ideas or like want to share your story about how you're surviving, how you're thriving, how you are visible and out loud in the world, definitely let me know in the comments, and definitely hit up my socials, because I'm definitely interested in just getting to know more people who are in similar situations with me. So if anything I said vibed with you, definitely hit me up. I am always available to talk. and I'm definitely looking forward to just getting back out there. And don't forget to subscribe for some new videos, because I'm definitely hyped AF to get back out there in the world very, very soon. So thank you very, very much for watching. Live Without Limits. Chima loves you. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.